Welcome to the Embrace Her Legacy podcast, the #1 personal development classroom for millennial women, hosted by Embrace Her Legacy founder and CEO, Maria I. Melendez. Ladies, get ready to evoke your feminine confidence and be inspired to master your relationship with yourself so you can fabulously live your legacy. If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. Don't forget to visit us at embraceherlegacy.com, where you can support our mission by making a donation of any amount or sign up to become part of our community of volunteers and supporters, the Embrace Her Legacy Collective. Our vision is for every woman and every girl to defeat her inner saboteur, master her relationship with self, and live out her legacy unapologetically. Enjoy the podcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Embrace Her Legacy podcast. This is the spring-summer season 2022. Today's episode is going to be fun and opinionated. I know that much. It is called The Independent Woman. Is she for us or is she against us? And I have a panel. This is the first time I have. It's four of us. It's four of us that are opinionated and got something to say. Before we jump right in, I just want everybody to go ahead and introduce themselves. Everyone on this panel has already been on a podcast, so introduce yourself to the people, and then we'll jump into the juiciness.
I guess I'll go first. My name is Dana Blair, and I'm a TV correspondent and producer. Short and sweet.
Lovely. My name is Rondell Anderson out of Brooklyn, New York. Above all, I am a proud husband now. Also a producer of Nothing Short of Greatness Productions, produce podcasts, healing circles, focus on therapy, self-love, and community.
Love that. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, perfect. I go by the name of the young exec King Carl, youth motivational speaker, best-selling author. I am a writing coach, and we've published over 100 best-selling authors in the last 18 months and counting. And I own the #1 recording studio, podcast studio, photography studio in the state of.
Okay, so I told y'all, Carl got a million hats, all right? Carl has a million hats. So we are going to jump right in. And y'all know I like to start my episodes with really my inspiration and why I decided to have this conversation. So honestly, the objective is just really to have an open dialogue on our thoughts about the strong Black woman and the stereotype of the strong Black woman and how that influences our dating, our relationships. I specifically chose Rondell and Carl because Rondell is recently married. And I know Carl, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure, but I'm like, Carl, I don't think you got married yet. So I wanted a single man, and I wanted a man who is in a marriage. And then Dana and I, who both were not married, we're both, not married. I'm just going to keep it as that. Not married yet.
What's your status, Maria?
I'm not married. That's all I'm going to
Oh, tell us more.
Y'all in my business already. Dana, you already know all my business.
I was curious. Inquiring more. No.
I am not married yet. But I just wanted to talk about that. And my inspiration honestly came when I entered my relationship last year. And I was like, this independent woman thing is not as fly as they make it out to be because, and I say that to say, like, I didn't know the power in partnership until I did get with someone. And I remember there was a specific instance, Dana, I remember I told you this. where it was last year graduation season, and I went to 2 different graduation parties, one with him and one without him. So the one that I didn't go with him was for my nephew, and I had to, you put money in a card. So because it was just me, my nephew got $30, right? He's graduating middle school. I was like, $30, he'll be fine, right? The next weekend, I went to my niece's graduation party. She was graduating from elementary school. Because I was with him, he put 20, I put 20, she got $40. And I was like, this is amazing. There is power in partnership. And I had prided myself in being this strong, independent woman. And I was just like, yeah, there's power in partnership. And then even in adjusting to me dating someone, especially someone who is a personality, he's like, yo, chill. I got this, So I had to learn how to kind of like take off my cape and trust a man to lead. So I kind of just wanted to have that conversation there. So I want to jump right in, and I want to talk about, I guess this is specifically to Dana, and the men can jump in here. What does being an independent woman mean to you? And to the men, I guess you could tell what is your experience around the independent woman?
Okay, I'm going to say this twofold. I think being an independent woman, I can define that, but also I think we need to be cognizant of how other people projecting their insecurities on what does it mean to be an independent woman onto you. So first things first, I'm a daddy's girl. Maria knows this.
Yes, she is. We know Donald Johnson, honey.
True and true. And the way I was raised in the heart of Central Louisiana is my father raised me to always speak up for myself. My father raised me to respect myself and respect my body. My livelihood and my wealth does not have to depend on another person. For myself, to ask for the same amount of money that my counterparts are making. I was taught all of those things, but I was also taught that a man still has to be a man. I identify, because I'm going to say it as in this day and age, I'm a heterosexual woman who dates men. Okay, so I'm using pronouns based upon my experience. But for me to so it's not to be mistreated, but I can't rule everything all the time, right? I can stand on my own, but I choose to be in a partnership, if that makes sense. So that's the way I was raised. So me being independent is, I could do everything for myself. I don't have to prove that to anybody. I don't have to prove that to myself. That's fine. But I think being independent is, for me, a conscious choice. Yes, I can stand alone and do insert whatever here, but I choose to be in a partnership with someone because I feel like this is a complement to my life and not a necessity to my life.
Well said, Miss Blair.
Yeah.
Any of the men want to chime in on this?
I don't know if I can add to that.
Right? She said it so eloquently.
No, that was perfect.
I know.
Oh, at least I agree with everything she said.
But if I could just add an extension, there are those that say, I'm a strong, independent woman. I don't need this. What are you going to bring to my life? And da-da-da-da-da. And you're like, that's a lot. And I can't, like, even I'm like, oh, girl, I couldn't date you. Because it's a lot, So I just had to define how I view independence.
And girl, since you brought it up, let's jump right in, because that was one of my questions. Like, I think there's a difference in what Dana, which you so eloquently and beautifully said, which I wholeheartedly agree with. And then the juxtaposition to that, where it's, I don't need anything. I don't need nobody. I'm bad all by myself. Where to me, and my experiences running into women like this, that's normally a root of bitterness there. And that's just my experiences to the women who identify that. So I kind of wanted to explore that. Like, why do you think sometimes women can lead with that overwhelming sense of, I don't need a man from nobody. I'm all by myself. I don't need you. Why do you think that may be?
I think it's a defense mechanism. I think it's a defense mechanism from a place of hurt. Because, what is it, Macbeth, my lady doth protest too much. You don't have to lead with that energy. I think a lot of that energy should speak for itself. But I think it's a defense mechanism. I think you're trying to weed through the BS up front. I think you're trying to ward off certain things up front. And it comes from negative experiences. And I don't, poo-poo, if you will, those individuals. That I just don't necessarily know if that's always a healthy approach. I don't believe that's a healthy approach.
Okay. Men, what has been your experience in either dating or maybe women in your circles, with women with that mindset? Rondell is thinking.
I was gonna let call go, but
I missed the question.
yeah.
So the question was in regards to, because Dana brought up, as she eloquently stated, what an independent woman is to her. But then there's, to juxtaposition to that, there's this sense of the woman who says, I'm independent, I don't need nobody, I'm bad all by myself, right? And we're talking about like our experiences, one as women, with that. And then the question was, as men, what has been your experiences with either dating women like that, women in your circles, your families, your circles of influence, anything like that?
I tend to stay away from women who lead with that, because
wow.
that shows me that you're not in position to even be dating, because your guard is so high, your hurt level is so high, and you're scoring at this moment and you're projecting that on me.
Mm-hmm.
That shows me you're still hurt and you have some healing to do before we can be in an emotionally intelligent, non-toxic relationship. So you're wearing your emotions on your sleeve just by leading with that. So I know that that's not someone that I need to be entertaining seriously. And it's a turnoff. Simply put, it's a turnoff. Like, I know you're a woman. I don't want a woman that needs me. I want a woman that wants me. So you don't have to emphasize that with that level of you don't have to emphasize it in that same manner. Let's put it that way.
Did you want to jump in there, Rondell?
Yeah, I think it's a multitude of things, from internal experiences, from trauma, from being let down and disappointed by a male partner who a woman had at once trusted to help them navigate through life. It could be trauma-based. It could be a father figure who wasn't able to, protect and provide in the ways that a woman would need to feel loved and secured. It could be just society's stereotype of validating women based on how far or close they are to securing a man, quote unquote, or being married. The stereotype of grandma asking when you gonna settle down and have some babies and find a man, or the stereotype of if a woman isn't exhibiting ladylike behaviors, telling her she's never gonna find a man acting like that, and her defense of battling that stereotype or that trope that I don't need a man to validate my womanhood or to validate my worthiness. So it could be a multitude of things. In some ways, since you asked personal experiences, it's really a way to see if a man is interested in stepping into a role. So instead of asking, could you be supported in this manner, is to say, I don't want that. I don't need that, and see what he does about it. Because some men are ego based, and if you tell me I can't do something, you don't need something, then I want to show you that I can. Maybe younger men do that, but yeah, it's a great question. It can be approached by several different ways. I think the biggest part of it is society based. The measurement of a woman being worthy by, is she married? Does she have kids? What does her husband do? Et cetera, et cetera.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dana.
No, I would just say that I would completely agree with that. And then also to echo Carl's sentiment, I think it's all about emotional intelligence. And what I've discovered, because I've done the work. I've had to do a lot of work on myself through different things in my life. And actually, the last guy I dated here in Chicago, we had a very interesting conversation about paying cell phone bills and how he had to pay his ex's cell phone bills, and she was horrible with money. And it led to a conversation of him saying, him trying to figure out how he fit into my life. And I said, I don't need you to pay my cell phone bill. I'm not interested in what you can do for me. I want you. And when Carl made the comment earlier, it's like, I want you to want me as a person, not need me. I think a lot of people can't understand that concept. So I just think there are so many different layers and nuances of trauma, bringing trauma into other spaces and places that even come into this whole, I'm a strong, independent woman, or I'm a whatever, I don't need anybody, And then that the people that they're seeking or the people that they're attracting versus what they're seeking. I just think there's so many nuances to that we all just touched upon.
I love that. That's so good. Now, we talked about emotional intelligence, and I love this group because I know everyone on a person, to a certain, Dana and I, like, we're sister family friends, right? And the men on the panel, like I have relationship with you guys, and I've sat with y'all, and I know y'all well enough to know that y'all have done the work and the importance of doing the work. And I wanted to jump into vulnerability because I think to echo some of the things that you said, sometimes when we lead with that, I don't need nobody, I'm bad all by myself, blah, blah, there's a fear of vulnerability there, right? And sometimes when you fear being vulnerable, you put on this armor for whatever reason, Rondell, that you said. It could be a myriad of things. So I would love to ask Dana, and then to the men, what allows you to feel vulnerable in dating someone and taking, I guess, I don't want to say the cape off, but allowing yourself to be your true, authentic self with someone and being vulnerable,
I'm an anomaly. So that's the right question for me. I ripped the Band-Aid. Like, I think there's strength in vulnerability. I don't view vulnerability as a weakness. Do you have a security number on the first date? No. But I don't mind sharing. I struggle with anxiety and depression. Like, there are just certain, I don't feel any shame about the person that Dana is. I don't. So being vulnerable is not difficult for me. But I do find that my ability and willingness and comfort with my vulnerability is intimidating.
Tell me more.
I've discovered that because not everybody is in that space. And then they're like, I think oftentimes we're like, okay, well, what's the hook? Now, what's that hook? Okay, so this person's being vulnerable, this person's trusting me, or this person's doing this, this person's doing that. What's the hook? Yeah, I don't think I'm the right person for the vulnerability conversation. I in your vulnerability, in those points where you look for your weakness, Brene Brown says, that's where you can find your blind spots and you can correct them. So vulnerability is not a weakness. So I'm very comfortable being vulnerable. Now, as someone who dates BIPOC men, I don't think our society has spaces for men of color to be vulnerable. So therefore, I also think it's may not be fair to automatically expect the gentleman I'm dating to be in this vulnerable space and be able to code switch into this vulnerability like he's one of my best gals. I don't think that that's always fair either. So I think there has to be some grace and patience in vulnerability as well.
Oh, Dana, you read my soul. You read my soul as far as getting to the point as a woman being comfortable with the conversations around vulnerability, me dating a man, and then a man of a particular age from a particular era with a particular mindset.
Yeah.
Maria, I'm not one of your girlfriends, yo. I'm like, well,
it's the yo at the end. Yo, for real. But you know what though? I think those moments of vulnerability, they will happen, but you just can't expect them to happen like you and I at brunch with some mimosas, Maria.
Right. And I had to adapt to that. And he's like, yo, when I'm ready, I will tell you things. I will get there, but you gotta let me be me. And Maria had to listen and pay attention. I said, all right, okay, back off. You understand? So it's to that point of, as women, it is easier for us to be a little vulnerable, but men, especially, Black men, and I've had this conversation with so many men before about not feeling like they have those spaces to be vulnerable. And oftentimes in situations with their partners, girlfriend, wife, whomever, live it, whatever, fiance, feeling like sometimes in those moments of vulnerability, it was then used as a weapon later down the line. So feeling like they could, feel comfortable. And I've heard Black men to even say, I feel more comfortable talking to my boys, to my mans, than I do to my ladies sometimes, which is like jarring for me, right? So I would love for the men to jump in on this conversation about vulnerability.
Do not embarrass me.
To embarrass you? How we embarrassing you, Carl? Wait, you broke up. What's up?
Oh, dang.
Now we hear you.
I'm on a bridge. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's okay.
What I mean by that is I don't do anything to embarrass myself, right? So if I confide in you something that's really, really painful or something that I don't normally share, keep that between us. Why is this in your group chat? Why is this the topic of conversation? Why did this get back to me? And I know I only told you. Now you're embarrassing me. And that is such a level of fear men have. Like, you make me not want to be vulnerable. You make me not want to share this with you if as soon as you catch an attitude, it's being thrown back in my face. Like, yo, mom, relax. Like, why is this coming up again if we talked about this in confidence? So it's like, don't embarrass me in that way. Even if it's just us, it's embarrassing if this is something I told you, like I don't even want to share this with you, but here's the deal. And for that to get thrown back in my face in an argument or used against me or be the topic of conversation. I know sometimes you want to seek advice and things of that nature, but damn, what are we keeping between us? Like Alicia Keys once said, think of me as the pages in your diary. Like, to get to that level of trust, communication, vulnerability is a huge deal. It doesn't happen that often. And I strongly desire to be there and to feel safe with you. And knowing that this is between me and my lady. So yeah, safety is a big thing on both ends too. because I need to also make you feel secure in knowing that I got you. You know what I mean? Like the last woman I was dating, she had a very difficult situation she was dealing with financially. And she was scared to cry in front of me. She was scared to ask me for something. And if I wasn't with her when this situation happened, I would have never known about it, just because she's so used to doing everything on her own. And I had to show her a level of security that she's probably never seen in a man that she's dating. You know, she has a male best friend, and she's seen that level of security in him. But as far as dating is concerned, I had to show, like, nah, I got you. It's okay if you cry out. You know what I mean? But whatever we doing is between me and you. So if I need to take care of a bill or two or whatever the case may be, I got you. But she's so used to, I hope I say Nick, because I don't know if I can say that here, but she's so used to men.
Oh, you were just in a good space and it broke up on you, Carl.
It was use of that N-word.
I know. See, God was like, all right, so we'll circle back to Carl. Carl, we're gonna have to circle back on you because we're losing you a little bit. Rondell, I would love to get you to jump in here.
That as a carrot or a stick, or if you tell me something in secret, or if I do so, the security of knowing allows me, that's it.
We missed that whole last part, Carl.
Oh,
it was good. It was getting good. I know.
It's blowing off the top of the dome.
It was getting good. We missed you.
All right. So if I'm not mistaken, I said just the security in knowing what happens with us stays with us allows me to be vulnerable, and it allows my partner to be vulnerable as well.
Right.
And just know, when I say I got you, and I'll never have to share with anyone how I got you.
That's good. Rondell, you want to jump in?
Yeah, another great question. It's important for me, or I'll speak for myself, right? We navigate relationships, so we navigate either platonic or romantic interactions with us, with women in our community, for the sake of this conversation of vulnerability. Me specifically, it would be, I have to take into mind both that I preach and believe that, you know, Black women are sacred and are beautiful and are amazing and are soulful and are healers, but I can't ignore the reality of there are situations where women can be vindictive or be spiteful or bitter. I still choose to lean on the side of the former. So I still choose to see, and it could be ignorance, it could be luck, it could be a poor decision, but I will always lean on the side of the grace, of the divinity, of the soulfulness, of the divineness that is Black woman. So even with vulnerability, for the most part, if I did it, I did it. If I said it, I said it type person. So if I feel away and felt that I had to be worried about how this might be used against me, or would they take it and listen, and would I be able to confide in them the right way, I will take the chance and be an open book, or pour out myself before I worry about how will this make me look, how will this make me sound. I definitely understand the premise and protection that Black men feel they need to have because of how society might view emotionally challenged or weak-minded or weak-willed or unsuccessful or quote-unquote failure of a man. But I mean, again, Brooklyn, if I did it, I did it. If I said it, I said it. If I cried, I cried. Like, what are you gonna do?
And not any like the star, like this Brooklyn.
Right. And there's a difference, and I'm glad you said that.
You understand? Rondell
if I did it, I did it. If I cried, I cried. So,
right.
And then, what?
And you know what though? And then me being the person that I am, I'll flip the script and be like, well, why would you want to use that to hurt me? So I'm gonna put back on you, because that says more about you than it does about me. So, okay, yeah, like you said, if I did it, I did it. I said it. What?
Yeah.
Why do you want to weaponize that against me?
Right.
That's the thing. And then also, I can't bring that into every relationship and every situation. You know, I don't want to bear the burdens of every person you ever dated in your life.
Right.
I can't reciprocate that energy either. I dated someone, crazy.
I know who that is.
Who shared something very traumatic that happened to him in his life with the girl he dated like before me. And she spread it all. She literally made a sign and posted it outside of his apartment.
No.
Yeah. And his landlord told him. And
no.
So from there, he wasn't gonna trust anybody. He was done.
Shoot.
Aisha, Pamela, Renee, whoever, all of us were gonna have a horrible relationship with this person in that aspect.
Right.
Something that, you know what I mean? So I think you also have to be mindful of those things, of those elements as well, and what you're bringing into your next relationship. The guy, like I said, the guy I dated here couldn't handle the fact that, I'm in a comfortable place right now. I want to be with you. Let's build something together. He couldn't handle that. But that insecurity, I can't bring into my next relationship. That's not fair to them or to me.
Right.
Not really giving us a fair shake if I do that.
There's two things that Dana and Carl said that I want to go into further. And Carl, you said something about in regards to being a safe space. Don't embarrass me, make sure that this stays between us. And I believe for my women out there listening, and just in general, cover your man. And what I mean by that is, like, perfect instance, the other day, one of my girlfriends and I were talking, and she was just like, but you and I was like, I don't tell you every situation we go. As a matter of fact, the bare minimum, because what he and I go through is between he and I. The world doesn't need to know, what he's experienced. I'm covering him, right? So I like to see myself as his safe space. And I don't have to go blab everything that he did to either piss me off or what he's enduring or what he's going through. But that came out of years of experience, because now we over the 35 threshold. I think the only one who's not over the 35 threshold here, I think, is Rondell. So it's just like, we done lived a little bit, honey. So I've learned from my mistakes, and I said, nah, I'm gonna be a safe space for my man. Now, Carl, you brought up the situation about this young lady that you were dating and finances brought up, right? And the issue, because, child, they say 50% of these marriages that be ending in divorce, and they say the number one reason is finances and money. And money does play a role in all of this. So I kind of want to get into it. And there was this research article that we pulled up, and in justmag.com, that said, with the way modern women are now working full-time jobs and at the same time providing immense financial support, there's so much pressure on men to do better. These days, more women are steadily making boss moves. They're gracefully climbing career ladders, taking charge of businesses, and leading places of power in leaps and bounds. Women are progressively advancing an area of life. Shout out to us. Now, men, I want to know, how do you feel about dating a woman who makes a significant amount more of money than you and has that? Carl, you smiling. Carl is like, and how does that play, or has it ever played a role in your dating relationships over the years?
Salute to the women that's making bread. All right, let's get there. I love women that got their own bag, because I like to add to it.
Come
Right? That's
on,
why
add to a bag.
I love this. I love this topic because I love it. I want to see you shine, baby. You a star. You're supposed to be shining. You're supposed to be getting bread. You're supposed to be in the forefront. Like, that's great. You know, I like to say strong women intimidate weak men. It is what it is. I said what I said, right? Like Rondell just said. I said what I said. I want to see you shining. And if I'm in a position where my woman's making more than me, she's doing all right? But I wanna show her how to make more, you know. And if she has ideas, I want to help her with those ideas. And if I have to play a supportive role, I'm gonna play a supportive role. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool with that. But not a lot of guys are, and I just feel like that they're intimidated by the woman, to the point where I've seen this happen. A lot of men will stifle their woman's success because of their own insecurities. You can't do that. I want to see you flourish. So I've seen it to the point of sabotage. And that's not the dude for you. Like, if your man can't support you, then that's not the dude for you. And support, that if I don't have it financially, support doesn't mean I'm putting up the bread or investing in this. Support could mean I'm connecting you to the right people, right? I might not be able to put 10,000 on this particular event, but I can connect you. Oh, I know some caterers, Ma. I know this person. I know that person that can make your life easier. Or, you know what? I know this person that can sponsor this event or sponsor this particular thing. Whatever it is that your lady does, support it, right? Yo, you got to understand your purpose and walk in your purpose. And when you do that, I can help you in it as your helpmate. Like, that's the point of being with somebody. If I'm doing something, I need someone to help me in that manner. You're my helpmate. I know my purpose. I'm walking in it. And if the roles are reversed, you know your purpose. You're walking in it and you're making a hefty bag in it. I'm going to do whatever I can to help support that. If I'm the dude just taking pictures, making you look good, that's my job, right? But if I'm the one, I don't need her to know that the kitchen staff is not doing their thing. Like, let me go handle that to make her life easier. So whatever role, it does not have to be financial. Whatever role I can play, I'm gonna play it. So I don't get insecure when it comes to finances, because I do okay on my own. But, you know, if she's making more than me, that's gonna motivate me to do better.
Okay.
Like, I'm not the only one with ideas. I got ideas. Like, let's do this. You know. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree a lot. I think it is tough for most men to, again, feel validated if their woman is making more money than them and they cannot. I would say there's a healthy percentage of Black men or Black boys being raised with very little advice and guidance on how to take care of a family, of a woman, outside of providing for them financially, sexually, and protection wise. So if you take one of those things away, if I'm not able to, if I don't feel I can protect you, if I don't care, I feel I can't provide for you, then I feel invalidated, or some men will feel invalidated if they aren't able to do that. So here you come. Most young adult men might be raised, you get a job, you buy a house, you find a woman, you provide for her, make sure she feels good, looks nice. And a lot of that just comes with, a lot of those resources are provided by how much money you make. And if a woman could do that and provide for herself, then you might feel like, well, what am I good for? Or what am I here for? And that might come out in reality as feeling intimidated or feeling insecure or not being attracted, because you get a sense of pride and a sense of feel good when you're able to take money out of your wallet, or she comes and asks you for something. But best believe, I told my wife, if she had a job, she made a lot of money, it was something that she loved, and she was able to be healthy, and she was treated right in whatever the situation she is in, I'd stay home. I would stay home. I would only do what I love as far as creativity. So right now I'm able to provide that from her. She had a job. It's a really nice, on the surface, it was really nice, big brand, international brand, chief marketing officer, all that sweet stuff, but they treated her poorly, underpaid her, overworked her. She was smarter than 90% of the people there. But in this situation, I was able to be like, what good is the position, the name, the opportunity, if then you come home, or when I call you on the phone, when we talk on the phone, we talk over dinner, I ask you, what racist things they said to you today. And you actually have a story. So it didn't, I was able to provide, like, look, start working on what you want to do creatively. Don't worry about, finances and things like that. We always going to eat. We always going to have food. We're going to entertain ourselves. But if the shoe was on the other foot, I'm staying home. And people going to ask me, hey, what you do for a living? Look, I uplift the Black community. I'm working towards Black liberation. What do you do? I just told you. I just told you the validation of, and this is a capitalistic system, which of course we benefit from in so many ways, but it teaches a lot of toxic and poisonous ideology. And money is so important, because if we don't have it, or we struggle to have it, we literally wither away. Like there aren't enough safety nets. If I don't have money, then I'm probably not gonna eat. I'm not gonna have shelter. If I'm sick, I won't have someone to take care of me. So that's why I feel like it's so stressful, and it's more about society and the structure of society than it is striving for making a lot of money, if that makes sense. So I think that is really important, and I'm not alarmed or surprised that so many divorce. It's more about money than do we still love each other? Do we still want to be together?
But I also think too, put my little 2 cents in.
Go ahead, put them in. Put your 10 cents in, boo.
I have a lot of friends who got into marriage for the wrong reasons, though.
Chat.
Like, I just do. I have friends who got married because I've been with him an X amount of time. He better put a ring on my finger. I've been with him. Oh, we have a kid together. He better put a ring on my finger. Oh, after insert, he better versus, do I really want to build with this person? I'm becoming a certain age. I need to. So then you get it. Marriage is a very real thing. It's not for play. It's not just a bridal party. It's not just this party. It's a very real thing. And now they're looking at the person across from them and they're like, wait a minute, we don't have those same values. We don't have those same views, opinions, and approaches to things such as money. You now realize, your partner would rather be homeless than not wear Gucci or something like that. Like, I don't know, like, you're like, what? Huh? Well, who is this person? You know what I mean? So I think, finances is also something that you have to just have a healthy, you have to have those conversations and those relationships, healthy relationships with those things, and just align on certain values as well.
Okay. Zaina, how we've had this conversation before. Like I said, we sister boo girlfriends, right? And we talked about like financial security and relationship. And then also because you said plenty of times that men have said you have come off intimidating, right? Yeah. Because of this. And I'm like, and people have said it to me. I'm like, have you ever had one conversation with her? Because she is the funniest human being. Like, she's a goofball. But I say that to say, what has been your experience encountering, men who may feel a little threatened by your, I want to say independentness, but more of just being secure in yourself, financially, emotionally, all of that. What has been your experiences with that?
Lord God. I think it may have been Carl that said it. I see self-sabotage. It's a lot of self-sabotage that happens. It's a, why are you interested in me? Why are you here? And I've literally been asked those questions.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And I don't know. I'm so fully present and so fully myself and truly love myself that I just show up. The same person you meet on day one is the same person you'll meet on day 9,752. Okay. This is who she is. And I think that in itself is intimidating. I've been through a lot, I've done a lot, I've experienced a lot, and it shaped this person. And so I've had to also realize too that the life I've lived thus far is not traditional. That's intimidating.
Can you share people who may not know what you mean? I know what you mean like that because I'm your friend, but can you share people why that your life hasn't been traditional, per se?
Oh, well, I come from a small town in central Louisiana. I went to New York City as a classically trained dancer. Then I started working in media and I was behind the scenes in media and went to school and got all these degrees and student loans and then ended up on camera and interviewing these people. And I travel all the time. I love traveling. It's nothing for me to take a backpack and just bounce to some foreign country. Like Maria will call me and say, where are you? First
Japan. She'll be like, I'm in Japan, girl. I'm like, who are you with? By myself?
I'm in Tokyo till Tuesday. What's up? So I think that but that has nothing to do with them. That's just me being a person who I want to soak up every aspect of life because I only have one. And if you want to do that with me, cool. If not, cool. Like I think those elements of my personality I find, are intimidating. And then I'm a 40-year-old woman. So then the questions come, why haven't you been married? What's wrong with you? I'm like, I've been dating people like you. No. So you have those questions, as well. And I just show up. Honestly, just my energy is strong. I just show up. This is who I am. I could cook. You want to bake a cake? Let's bake a cake. I don't really care. Just be present. Just be transparent. Just be honest. Just be authentic. And you show up too. I was telling somebody, the last guy I dated, I said, I've never had the option to not show up in my life. I don't understand people who don't show up for themselves or who don't show up for their opportunities or just show the fuck up in life. Like I've never had that opportunity, when you're 2,000 miles away from home by yourself, you don't have no family, you better show up, especially in New York City, because the city will eat you up, And then that's how I developed this, like what Rondell said. I said what I said, what? Attitude, Brooklyn, it does it to you. So those aspects of my personality, I've been told, are intimidating. But I can't change who I am, because if I do, one day I'm going to roll over and resent you. So I can't do that to myself. That's not fair to me. That's not fair to you. If we have children, that's not fair to them. So I'm just going to show up and be fully present. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. And it's okay. But don't try to break me in the process.
I love that. Yeah. Rondell, you said something that really stuck out. You talked about kind of like the ways young men have been taught, is particularly in our communities, I guess around identity, be able to protect, provide. And Rondell, I admire you so much. From the day I met you, I said, he's special and different. And I was honestly taken aback when I found out how old you are. I was like, he's only 20. Like, at the time, right? But you had this level of being marriage and family minded, and you were just for the people, about the people, right? And you said something about the next generation and how they've been taught, they necessarily haven't been taught these tools, they haven't been given these tools. What advice would you give to a young man in regards to building those tools? And share a little bit more. Where did you get your magic from?
I mean, I got mine from a Black woman.
Yeah, you
Who
go.
got hers from a Black woman, who got hers from a Black woman. So I credit all that to my mother. And I mean, there's some of it I haven't figured out. Like, many Black men grow up with amazing and struggling but amazing communities around amazing people, around nurturing Black women. Most men have that big mama, if not in their family, in the neighborhood, which they learn about nurturing and they learn about caring and they learn about, grandmother telling them to slow down and breathe. But not all people stay with those tools. So there's a part of it where I don't necessarily know how I knew to listen and how certain seeds that was planted in me at a young age blossomed some years later, because I didn't take all the advice immediately. But I think losing some of those people who were important to me made me kind of slow down and realize what matters in life and what's really important. I think on the last podcast we spoke about risk reward, and as bad as you might feel if you get embarrassed, if a girl plays you, if she hangs out a sign outside your apartment, which is crazy, it doesn't equate to how amazing you will feel if you find you the right one when you both are ready and you both can provide for each other and love each other and be there for each other and join in communion and in front of God and maybe start a family if that's what God, it feels right. It doesn't compare. And I think in many ways I've learned maybe a few years ago, we don't give our hearts as much credit as it deserves when we use language like, my heart is broken, or I'll never love again, or I'll never love somebody as much as I love you. And it's, in the moment, it's like, makes total sense. I think we've all probably said that or know someone who has said it, but there's no bound to how deep and how full your heart can feel if you tap into it. I have a friend that's been married for 10 years, almost 10 years. And there was a span of time where he'll be like, yo, I never knew I loved my wife this much until this happened. And then 6 weeks later, something else happened. He's like, I never thought I loved my wife this much. It's like, even in that language he's using, he's putting a ceiling or a cap on how much he can actually love his woman, and it grows and it grows and grows. And you ask someone who's been married for 30 years, 40 years, they'll keep telling you, the love grows and grows and it wavers. And I think what helped me understand that is, what that helps me understand is grace and forgiveness. How many times I've been a fool and made a mistake allows me to accept or be aware that people will be a fool and they'll make mistakes. I have to protect myself as well, so we can't just let everyone back into our lives. But the capacity that people, as much as people can be evil and vengeful and bitter, they have as much of a capacity to be amazing and loving and nurturing and caring. And if you spend so much time protecting yourself from it, or protecting yourself from the risk of the negativity and the violence and the downside of things, I mean, you also limit the opportunity to reap the benefits from it. So it is tough. I'm not an expert on navigating, when to let it all out, when to reel it back. I don't know. I don't think anyone will ever be, because we're humans at the end of the day. But there is something really just amazing about embracing the beautiful things that life gives you a taste of. That when you see what community does at its best, you learn to trust it, you learn to envision it, you learn to long for it. When you see what love does at its best, if you think about the best a partner or a woman has made you feel, you want that. And how do I get that? How do I better prepare myself to grasp that, to find it, and to keep it when I do find it, is what's really important. And I know that is a large reason of why I knew that when I found my wife now, that there's a lot of work that I have to do to make sure that this is right, that I want this, and how do I show up every day to make it worth her while, because she, it's her decision too. She had to say yes. She had the degree, she had to see the same vision that I did. But like, just the big thing is, and I want to have a more in-depth conversation about it one day, is the kind of limits we put on our heart. Yeah.
Why
One
do
day.
we think that is, Rondell? You see, Rondell is just. I love when you say Rondell, but why do you think that is? Why do you guys think that we put limits on our heart? Why do you think that there's? I don't know if y'all are experiencing, but I feel like there's this stray away from desiring marriage and family. And to me, I look at things from a different level. I said, of course, because if you attack the family, you attack the society. When you attack everything starts at home and the family at home. So if there is an attack on the family structure, it spews out to other areas in our society. And I'm just like, sometimes I look at us and I'm like, are we getting it right, God? Because I don't know if we getting it all the way right, but why do I think that is? It's that stray away from Rondell, like you said, from what your heart can do. And Rondell, you said it. You said something. I'm about to go and listen to like the dopest R&B music. Rondell said, "What love can be at its best." That's a whole song. Why do y'all think that is? Why have we strayed away from that?
I think it's easier to fall off than to step up.
Yeah.
Because it does take work. I'm not saying like arduous, painful work, but it have to be intentional. You have to be thoughtful. You do it is an effort. It is a conscious decision to be present and to be present with that person. And in a society where we have access to any and everything at our fingertips at all times, and options, it's much easier to just move on to the next option and fall off, but the reality is the person who's in the bed next to you every night is the person that can hurt you the most.
Ooh, Jesus.
On every single level. You see that throughout history, from Cleopatra to the gangbang on the corner, just the chick who turned him in, or whatever. Like you see these things. So I think it's also a form of protection, though. It's also a form of, I don't want to be hurt. It's also a form of I don't know if I can handle being hurt. I think those things are all signs of just like guarding ourselves.
Carl, I'd love to hear what you got to say on this. Carl still there? I think he's moving around. Carl, can you hear us?
Either Carl's frozen or he just flashed back to another relationship on us in his head.
I think Carl, I don't know if Carl is.
I remember that summer of such and such.
That summer 2007. Right, do you want to jump in? Because I know you brought about going deeper and having that discussion about, kind of the barriers we put on our heart.
I mean, the language makes it easy. I don't know when the phrase, my heart is broken came about, but it's traveled, and everyone has probably used that term. And I think that gives birth to other things like, I'll never love again, or I've never loved someone this much. It's just I think it's easy because in so many things we put a cap on. There's a cap on how much, not we put a cap on our goals to make. a number of how much money we want to make, a level we want to reach, kids we want to have, property we want to own. Like everything about us is measured in a number or a level, or there's a top point to reach. And I think love is literally the only thing that literally doesn't have a limit. It's the most powerful energy in the universe, and we can't define it the same way we do things in the real world. So it's very easy to want to put a limit on it or to imagine there's a limit on it. But I think we enter a different realm when we imagine relationships. We imagine our purpose when we look at it like it's endless. There's no measure. There's no measurement we could put or surround the ways we love people, how much we love people, how much we can love ourselves, and what we do.
I think too, like, we also have to manage our expectations about relationships, marriage in particular, right? I think we see the Hallmark movies and the amazing movies all around Black love, and it's the happy ending, right? And it's like at the end of the story, everybody's happy, but we don't see what happens after they get married, after he said I do, after they get back together, and understand that in a relationship, marriage, that person is going to hurt you. Accept that. Like, they're not gonna, every day is not gonna be, you know, the Hallmark Channel. There are gonna be things that person is going to say to disappoint you. There are going to be things that person is going to do that's going to, you know, frustrate you, offend you. That's a relationship. But I think part of the issue is, one, we don't manage our expectations. So then when those challenges come up, we automatically say, oh, this is no longer serving me, I'm out. And I'm like, are you going to move on to the next thing where it's going to be a same deal of challenges? You're going to have to work through it. You know, back to your point, Dana, it's easier, what do you say, to step up?
Fall off than step up.
Yeah, it's easier. So it's like, I think as a people, we have to kind of be real with one another and say, no, this is gonna, that person is gonna piss you off. That person is going to piss you off, and that's essentially part of it.
And that's separate from love. That I could love someone, they could hurt me greatly. I can choose to not allow them in my life anymore. I could still love them if that's how I feel, because again, there's no boundaries. Like there's people that I love who I don't speak with, who I haven't seen in a very long time. They take up space in my heart, but I still have more than enough love to share with people who I haven't met yet, or relationships that haven't have yet to this point taken up so much of my life. But it's important, like, to separate that, because writing as I go in marriage, like if my wife does something I don't like, but she hurts my feelings, like that won't change the love I have for her or how I love her, if I love her. At best, I might be a little bitter, but not bitter. What's the word when you try and get back at somebody?
Vindictive?
What's that word?
Vengeful,
No.
addictive.
No. I'll think of it. But yeah, like someone you love can hurt you. You can choose to not move forward with them, but that doesn't. I think love is so much more powerful than that. That doesn't mean we have to stop loving them. The action part of it, yes, but I don't mean internally like they'll be erased from our hearts. But yes, you can choose to not be in a relationship with them anymore.
True, absolutely. And I think too, it's like, man, grace and forgiveness is huge. And it's like, it's not easy to be in a relationship, like you said, Rondell, when someone hurts your feelings. It's like, oh my gosh, what you said disappointed me, so now I just want to run away. And I'm like, you know, sometimes we have to be able to say, all right, was it really that serious? The other day I was talking to a friend about a situation. She was like, girl, she said something, she was like, is this the mountain you want to die on? Like pretty much, girl, is it that deep? And I had to step back and say, all right, Maria, maybe you are overreacting. But I do have a question from an audience, and this was a question that was submitted in regards to submission. Which I know, and this is my second to last question, but she says, how do I adjust from being a strong, independent woman, handling everything on my own, to now having to consider someone else and being submissive in marriage or a relationship that is intended for marriage? Dana, your face. Dana's like, I don't know. Girl,
you know what it is? When it's the right person, you'll know and you'll be comfortable.
Girl.
I can't let any donkey just lead me off the cliff.
Girl.
I can't. If I know better and I'm like, nah, babe, I don't think you should do that. Just because I want you to feel big or whatever, I can't let you do that. The wrong person in your life can wreak havoc. So I think when there's someone you feel truly comfortable and safe with, submitting, however you define that, is not going to be, it's not an issue. It's not a conversation. And the person that you're with, they already know who you are. Mm-hmm. Like they know, you know what, they already know that. It's not going to be like a, yeah, you need to do what I say, that type of thing. It'll be a healthy dynamic versus this controversial one. I think it's our gut feelings that are telling us this person can barely cross the street by themselves, but I'm supposed to let them move in and pay the Con Ed bill. Hold on.
Not the Con Ed.
I just sense to say something ain't right. You know, like I think when it feels right, it feels right. There's only one person I've ever dated in my whole life where I truly felt that comfortable with. Only one.
What made you feel comfortable, D?
He was very mature, very emotionally intelligent. And I knew he had my best interest at heart.
Oh, that's good.
And so because I knew those things, I felt there was like a sense of like just peace and comfort. I knew if he said he was going to do something, he was going to do it. And it was just like this sense of peace and comfort. And he knew better than me most times because I'm hard-headed. You know? And he's like, no, you need to have a cup of coffee because you're not going to be around me all day. Not on no coffee. Like he was just, you know, and the way he approached it was in a way that was not intimidating. So it felt safe. It felt safe. But I think to answer that person's question, when it's the right person, you'll feel a level of comfort and peace. It won't feel like you a lion or a gazelle on Discovery Channel and you about to get your life just messed up.
Not a gazelle. I agree. From a woman's perspective, I don't think every man is worthy of your submission. Like I'm like, if you can't, my litmus test is like, if you can't lead a date, what makes me think that I can expect you to, like you said, Dana, come in and pay the Con Ed bill? Like, it's just like, if you need me to walk you through something as elementary as a date, then you're not the man for Maria. Maybe another woman would think that's okay, but I need you to be like, show up. So if I feel like you lead that and then you start to see other areas like, oh, like you said, Dana, feeling safe, feeling comfortable, then, you know, it's that ability to just say, oh, I trust you. And Dana, you said something, you know, that person has your best interests at heart. You know, there's only one man that I have felt 1,100% safe for, and he knows exactly who he is, you know. And that's why he exists, you know, because that's why he's there and that's why he's here. It's because at the level of security, I knew for a fact that nothing bad was ever going to happen to me in his presence. And it's crazy that it took, you know, 36 years of living on this planet before I ever felt that. So I definitely understand that. Dana, do the men want to chime in here?
Hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, smooth. Yeah, I love what Dana said. That best interest in mind part. That's the key factor right there. That's the key component. I'm not gonna lead you off a cliff. I wouldn't do that to you because I wouldn't do that to me, and you're a reflection of me, right? So if I have your best interest in mind, I'm gonna approach things in a different or delicate way when it comes to you, right? So the shortest way for me to answer her question is pay attention to what he offers and be okay with saying okay. That's how you can start to trust a little bit more and be okay with releasing whatever task or thing or event, whatever it is that you were going to do. Pay attention to what they offer to lighten your load, right? And then you can start trusting them with small things to build up your trust for the bigger things. You know, like Maria just said, hey, you know what? He told me don't make plans for Thursday. Let's see what he's about to do. Mm-hmm. And then he actually delivers with a dope ass date. And you're like, oh, this was a great time. So the next time he offers or suggests something like that, you're going to naturally be like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. I'll make sure my Friday's clear today. You know what I'm saying? So the small things that build up is one, paying attention to what he offers and delivers on is two. And then by the time those things are consistent enough, you'll build up a level of trust and security and be willing and wanting to submit.
Exactly.
Perfectly said.
Yeah, I'll add under the premise that it is what's best in a relationship for the woman to be submissive to the man. Because again, if y'all love each other, y'all compatible, but bro, like bro can't multitask. If he got poor short-term memory, if the woman is just more organized, if she's the better planner, if she's better equipped to influence certain decisions in the relationship more than the man, then that has to be acknowledged on both sides, and that has to be accepted. If we're going to accept that for the purpose of this question, that the woman should be submissive to the man for the relationship to be successful, then bro, I think what really both of you are saying or have said is that if he plans, is prepared, and he's consistent, then I almost never speak in certainties or include large groups of people, but there are very few women who are successful, responsible, independent, that if you could make her day life a bit easier or perform better in a certain area than she would, that she wouldn't be like, yeah, like, go ahead. I've been in relationships and I don't necessarily enjoy cooking, but I love food. If I cook better than the person I'm in a relationship with, then I'm cooking. I'm not gonna enjoy the food less because I feel as a man the woman should be cooking. Like, I enjoy the food. So if my food tastes better, then be eating my food. That's just picking one like stereotypical gender role. But for men, like, don't go into a relationship or dating expecting a woman to be submissive if you don't give her more than enough reasons to be submissive to you. And don't think that just because you're a man, you are owed submissiveness from the woman that you are dating. Like, you have to show and approve. And like, I promise you, she can make as much money, be successful, as well organized. If you can deliver, you make her day a little bit easier. You take one thing off her mind that she don't got to worry about. I'm relatively positive she will gladly just show up and be like, follow
okay.
me.
Okay. We will pull up. We'll be like, ready, set, go.
There's like so much stress could be caused mentally trying to plan, trying to make sure it works out well, trying to make sure it comes out the way you intended it to. Like you have to be talented, because women are really good at things that men aren't as good at.
90%.
Multitasking, one of them.
Multitasking, being organized, being prepared, remembering things. Like, so if you equip, especially if you work on those things while you're single, if you equip yourself with those skills. When I was single, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was doing what I needed to do. So if a woman showed up, if I had to fill in those spaces or those gaps in her life, I was prepared to do so. Especially if I loved her and I felt like this was what's best for us to manifest into something bigger. But yeah, you might meet a woman. She might have all those things. If you could make her day a little bit easier, that's what I just need you to remember for the men that's listening. You make her day a little bit easier, a little less stressful, and you do a good job at it.
I just add one thing.
Go ahead.
I'll add one thing. You said two things. One, you said if submission is like the qualifier for the success of your relationship, you have to be honest with yourself about that. Then, oh God, it was something else you said. Oh, I just want to say this. You're right. Some people are not good planners. They're not good at that. You're absolutely correct. My personal policy is the same hustle, grind, and effort you put into your job, I want you to put into me. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, now you got X amount of people working for you and you doing this and you doing that, and you managing 18 different projects, but you can't open an app on your phone. And in 5 seconds, just make the reservation, just send it to me. I'm the person to be like, oh, he doesn't know what I'm doing Thursday at 7. I'll be ready. You know what I mean? Like just those simple, so that's my thing. This, like, you got people who will sit there and keep refreshing the sneakers app because like X, Y, and Z dropped. That same effort, keep that same energy when, in my opinion, when it comes to the people you want in your intimate space and you want to build with, specifically me. I can't watch you putting your effort into making it to X, Y, and Z with your boys, doing this and this and this with your work, with your job. You still trying to go to your ex-girlfriend because her whatever is broken.
Nah.
And you trying to be reliable and dependable, like all those things, but you won't have a cup of coffee with me and go to the farmer's market. Right. That's what I like to do. I'm an old lady, just so y'all know. So, like, you know what I mean? So my thing is, but if I see you're at a certain level at every other aspect of your life, then I know, okay, this is kind of the energy this person is on. But don't you be out here
building whole empires.
Right. Can I share a story real quick?
Share the story, Rondell.
When I was 21, 22, I was dating a woman. And at this time, I was like building one of my first companies. I was working 2 jobs to raise money for it. I was going to school. I was doing all these things. And we weren't, I mean, now that I think about it, all that lifestyle wouldn't have helped me be the man that she needed to be, especially in the relationship we was in. But she came, I had so little, I won't say I had so little energy. I diverted so little energy in maintaining our relationship that it just became a toxic, negative space for the both of us. And one day, I'll never forget this, 10 years later, she hurt my feelings so bad. She said, Rondell, she said, you are such a great person. You love your family. You love people. You do so much for people. She said, but you're a horrible boyfriend. And that hurt my feelings instantly. I didn't recognize exactly what she meant, but what she was saying was, you put all this energy into running your business and going to school and making money and your family and things like that, but you choose to give, you don't choose to give that energy towards that relationship. And what Dana just said was like so true. So if you're the type of dude who's meticulous about his diet or his going to the gym or the sneaker app or Minecraft. I don't really play games. Whatever game, Call of Duty, all those games, but you can't direct that same energy, that preparation, that training, all those things to planning, providing, and protecting for the person in your relationship with. You can't make excuses. Oh, it's tough to make excuses because you have it. You just choose. You just.
But I'll also
that
add
means
this.
I say you choose, but you don't give that same effort and energy towards the woman you with.
Now, I will say this, though. I just want to add a caveat. If I'm dating someone and I see, like you were saying, you're working, you're in school, you have a lot going on because you're trying to build things for yourself in that regard. I think it's case by case, you know. I was in grad school and I was working 2 jobs. I was working as a sales assistant at A&E Television, and I was teaching dance classes in the Bronx on the weekends, and I was getting my MBA in the evening. My boyfriend, I know I saw him. I know he was there, you know, and sometimes it was literally like, you know, look, I picked up dinner, like just come over. And he knew after I eat dinner, I'm falling asleep and I'm snoring. Like it is what it is, you know what I mean? But he gave me grace because he's like, she has this going on. Right now, I don't have a lot of those things going on. I still have the same focus career-wise. I should also be pouring that type of energy into him. You know, and like I love to cook all the time. I can't be up in here cooking all the time and be like, oh, you didn't eat? Oh well.
That's shady.
You know what I mean? So I just wanted to add to what you were saying, you know, so you have to consider case by case. If the person is really is in a different space in their life, say you want to build with that person, you also have to support. So it's like a new define nuance.
Nikki Giovanni said, you go to work and you lie to that cracker's face. You smile in that cracker's face. She said, come home and lie to me.
Lie to me.
So
they do lie to me.
It is case by case, but not even but. It's case by case, and people, I think what you just mentioned, like you still chose to show up in the ways that you can. Like you ordered some dinner. Yeah, I didn't forget about you. I didn't forget about us and having dinner.
Right.
My body shut down. I ain't got nothing to do with that. My body gonna shut down. But there are obviously, again, case by case, there are people who will have all the energy in the world to hang with their friends or go to the gym for 3 hours, or they'll wait in the barbershop for 2 hours. I wait in the barbershop for 2 hours. Because they want that haircut.
We all in the barbershop for 2 hours.
They want that haircut. They want that haircut. They won't miss a text from the barber saying be here by 2. They'll be there by 2, but you can't show up and be on time for the woman that you in a relationship with. So absolutely, but that nigga Giovanni quote would never leave my mind.
Carl want to get in on this. I see Carl want to get in.
No, I'm enjoying the conversation. I love this.
Okay. I think that's so funny because Bae he says it all the time. He's like, oh, like sometimes, you know, we are taught to go so hard after our careers, after education and all this other stuff. And it's like, why can't you go that hard for your relationship? Like, I didn't even know that's a quote for Nikki Giovanni, but
I'll send you the video.
Oh, you have to. And he's like, you go to work for that white man and you go do everything that man tells you to do. And when you come home, you want to make a
sandwich? I will jump in and add to that. Y'all, this convo was too good. I'm the hip hop quote guy. Fabulous once said, busy man, but for you, I'm free. So it does, you know how many times I've dated women, they're like, oh, you too busy for me, you this, that. I'm busy for you. You're absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? The crazy thing about it is I know how I act with the woman I want to be with. You know what I mean? I don't miss a text. You feel me? I'm like, I could be on stage in the middle of the presentation, like, hold on, y'all. It's like, you will text that person back because that'll be the what Drake said. Oh, check this out. Drake said, I want to get the exact quote right. Everything I do is either for her or about her. So I'm with her even though I'm here without her, and you know it, right? So it's like you're on my mind all the time. Even if I'm out shopping, I'm gonna get two of these. You know what I mean? I'm gonna know your side. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make the time. I'm gonna make the effort. If I can go hard in business, I can go hard in making you happy too. I agree with that 1000%. So even the busiest people, and I know it sounds crazy, but even the busiest people will prioritize the person that they want to be with. You know, so that's just is what it is. And it might not be financially or whatever the case may be. You might not get all the time, but you'll get the time. Like, oh babe, listen, I'm tied up right now, but you know my schedule. I'm gonna hit you back as soon as I can. Something quick like that. Or if you're on stage and they show up for you, you can feel the difference. Yeah, so it's like you're gonna put in the effort for the person you want to put in the effort for.
And I also too think a lot of people aren't realistic. If you want a certain lifestyle, or you want to be with somebody that has a certain lifestyle, that's going to require certain hours. That may not be 9 to 5. That may not be traditional. That may not be standard. So you can't say, I want to be insert island here, designer here, lifestyle here. Seriously. And that person is not putting in the work, the work that they're putting in, their hours they're keeping are going to have to align with that. So I don't think that's fair, so I think you have to be honest with yourself too. Like I've dated people who they don't like, wait, hold on, on Monday, you didn't have anything going on for the week, but you just got booked to go to LA for something. So now you're leaving on Wednesday. I don't know how I feel about that.
That's your problem.
Yeah. Back. Like the plane comes back.
Yeah.
Back, but so you have to be with somebody that just understands.
Yeah. And and what you said, Dana, like, is gracious to you in that season, who understand, listen, I can't no longer go out on Thursday. You just said I was supposed to be in New York, but such and such happened. As your friend, if I can give you grace as your friend, like, girl, I know next time you come, we gonna catch up. You have to also be that gracious with other people and respect of what their respective lifestyles are. I remember my barber, speaking of, my barber was telling me a situation where he was dating someone, and because he also is an MTA bus driver, they work all sorts of hours. And, it was hard in one of the previous situations that he was in, because he was just like, sis, what am I gonna do? I'm working Friday night. So it was like having that grace for other people. So we have been chopping it up for like an hour and a half. I want to respect everyone's time. I just want to if anyone has any last words to share, words of encouragement. Y'all know we have some young women, young men, older women, older men, everybody listening. So any last words that anyone wants to share about anything that we discussed?
Ooh, before that, I got a question for Rondell.
Ooh, come on, question.
I got a question. I always ask all of my married friends this.
Ooh, I'm ready.
How did you know she was the one?
Go ahead. And I was going to ask that, but I was like, well, let me mind my business. But Carl, thank you for reading my mind. Thank you.
No pressure, Rondell. No pressure.
No pressure.
No, I don't feel pressure. I decided she was.
Ooh, that's good.
I decided she was going to be. I decided, right? So, I love her. She loves me. She's a beautiful person, right? Past all that. When it comes to what makes, I think, in my young marital time, what makes marriage successful is, do we both possess the capacity to navigate through this life together? Because again, a lot of people divorce, as we know, for reasons aside from I just don't love you anymore. I don't think we need to be together. It's finances, it's differences, infidelity, like so many other things. So I realize I'm in love with this person. She's in love with me. One thing I like to do, and this is a gem for all my fellas, or people who aren't married yet, I read the lyrics to "Show Me Love" by Ramen S.
Send me that too, Rondell.
You know the song. Baby, if you love me, you better show me love. That song. But if you read the lyrics,
I love
she's
that
dropping
The
gems.
song I listen to on the treadmill.
I was like, that's a barbecue song.
But you got it's so hip, you don't even catch it. What she's telling you. Like Heartbreaking Promises, I have more than my share.
Oh,
like,
yes.
My love is guaranteed. So just read the lyrics. Well, read the lyrics for people who are curious about what to expect and what to look for in relationships. But I decided that there was going to be things that I needed to change and provide for her. I communicated if there were what things need to be changed and provided for me, and that we can make a decision to share this life together and be in love and work through things that exist outside of do we like each other, right? Like when times are hard, are we going to be able to communicate? If adjustments need to be made, are we going to work together to get through this life together? Because it's tough. It's tough walking outside the door and facing so many hills that life has to offer in this society and this time that we're living, and there's so many things to struggle with. But can we come together at the end of the day and support each other moving forward in a healthy, loving companionship? So again, I mean, every day I have to choose to be the person or be a better version of the person that she decided and accepted that she wanted to spend her life with. And she does the same for me. So it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. The love was there. It's extremely important, but there's so much outside of just do we love each other that is important when we decide who we want to be with, and make a decision to spend the rest of our lives together. Because life is tough, man, especially for us.
Yeah.
Life is tough. It's expensive.
Sure, in Brooklyn it is.
It's expensive, man. It's expensive. So like, it's like, I don't want to skip over the romantic gushy stuff. Like the love was there. That's important. Very often people fall in love and they just stop there. But how are we going to navigate through this life together? How are we going to remember that we love each other? How are we going to be there for ways outside of, I love you too, you're beautiful, thank you. So that was really important. And again, the decision every day to be a good husband, or to keep the promises I made before we got married is of the utmost importance. And it's tough. It's a lot of work. You have to constantly remind yourself, like, when you were single in a relationship and you didn't feel like talking about it, or you just feel like sweeping under the rug, it don't really work like that no more. When you're struggling to make a decision, you can't just do it all by yourself now. You have to communicate it. I decided she was the one.
That's beautiful. There's nothing. I don't have anything to say. There's nothing to say after that.
Yeah, read the lyrics to "Show Me Love."
I'm gonna do that as soon as we stop, or as soon as we're done. I'm gonna go make me my dinner and listen to that record. Rondell, that was beautiful. I decided that she was the one, and it's important for us to have platforms like this, and then to go and to share this with the world, because somebody needed to hear that. I love all the gems. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Everybody, just let people know where to follow you, what projects to support you, what you got coming up. I know Carl probably got a list. Carl. Go ahead, Carl. You muted.
All right, good looks. Yeah, I do got a list. I'm sitting in the Royal Communications Center here. So if you want to get a photo shoot, if you want to do a podcast, if you want to do recording, reach out to me, connect with me, Royal Communications Center at Royal Center CT. Because of the studio, I'm actually all over New York City right now. We're hosting Podcast Club in every single borough of New York City. So we're teaching the youth how to podcast. It's an amazing program. You can connect with me on that. And if you want to write a book, share your story, you can also connect with me as well. Everything is at Young Executive, YOUNGEXEKUTIVE. That's youngexecutive.com. Young Executive at all social media platforms, emails at youngexecutive@gmail, whatever you need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for this platform, Maria. I appreciate you so much.
Oh gosh, I love y'all. Thank you. Thank y'all for supporting me, being on my side. Thank you.
Dope. Thank you as well. It was a beautiful, healthy conversation. If you want to follow me online, it's Mr. Anderson, Mr.and.er.son. That podcast initiative with the kids is so dope. I had a aspiration to do that for some time, but I think that's really dope. What I'm doing now is producing podcasts for just beautiful, amazing Black women I know. So Khadijah Tudor, Marie, I think you met her. The event I had was at her space in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
You go on that space. So Conversations with Khadijah, the podcast. Check that out. Also Nadia Lopez, I do her podcast.
You know Nadia.
Mm-hmm.
all love. Love it. Okay.
I do her podcast, a very, very important conversation and platform. Dismantling the school to prison pipeline. It's called Detention with Dr. Nadia Lopez. And then yes, hopefully some community events coming up this summer. I'll just stay tuned for that. Thank you.
I'm just Dana Blair on all platforms. I'm only on like 3 of them, but active on 1 because it takes a lot. Info at justdanablair.com. And I'm around. Some things are happening, but I can't speak on, but I'm here.
These are my people. This is my tribe. Thank you for being part of my support. Go ahead, Rondell.
Sorry. I don't forget. Sometimes I overthink if I should mention it. The most important podcast are the ones of my wife's. Is Pretas NY. It's in Portuguese, so I don't know many Portuguese or Black Brazilians in New York aside from the circle she introduced me to. But if you just so happen to speak Portuguese or you are a Black Brazilian in New York or in America, check that out. And some really big things coming soon with that.
Okay, what was it again? Say it again, Rondell.
Pretas, Pretas. EMNY.
Is she Brazilian?
Yes.
I shaved my head in Bahia. Brazil has a very special place in my heart.
That's dope. She would love to hear that.
Saudade.
Wow.
Saudade.
Dana actually had a business. Remember the business to Brazil?
I was learning Portuguese for a while, and then that was like years ago. But no, Brazil is one of mine. A very special place in my heart. But in Salvador.
That's what you did it? I never knew that. Look at that.
That's dope.
Dope. So y'all heard everything. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to y'all, like I said, for being part of my tribe and supporting Embrace Her Legacy, the people I really get to call on and call friends, and really just all the love and support. I really don't take that for granted. You understand? I really appreciate and really, really, really do really appreciate all the love and support over the years and for always taking my calls. So y'all know I will text you, email, hunt you down and be like, did you get my email? So thank you for having grace for your girl is always with a good intention, right? And for everyone listening, I hope that you really, really soaked in what we said. Reach out to our wonderful guests. Thank you for everyone for being so gracious. And remember to subscribe and share. Share this with someone who you think can benefit. Listen to it 3 more times. Do what you need to do. But to my ladies, listen out there, always be a woman who embraces her legacy. Good night. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Embrace Her Legacy podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast episode, please make sure to subscribe and visit embraceherlegacy.com to make a donation or sign up to become a part of our community of volunteers and supporters, the Embrace Her Legacy Collective. Make sure you follow us at Embrace Her Legacy to get daily inspiration and join our movement. Thank you for listening, and remember, you're enough, you're worthy, and you're a phenomenal woman who embraces her legacy.